Hi, today we're going to explore what it really means when we divide fractions. You probably already know what 10 divided by 2 means. Imagine you have 10 pieces of candy and you want to share them evenly between 2 people. Each person gets 5. That makes sense, right? But what about 4/5 divided by 2.5? That's weird. It definitely doesn't mean divide 4/5 of a candy bar between 2.5 kids. If you try to think of it that way, your brain might start to panic a little. Here's the thing. Dividing fractions takes a few extra steps to make sense of, and that's okay. This lesson isn't about how to calculate the answer, it's about understanding what the answer means. We're going to use tape diagrams to actually see what's happening when we divide fractions. Once you can picture it, it stops being confusing and starts being kind of cool. Ready? Let's go step by step.
All right, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll tackle what I call a weird question to really understand what we're being asked. Then, I'll show you a super helpful, easy numbers trick. After that, we'll get into the secret of 1. This is a big one. And then we'll actually build the diagram and finally find our answer. Sound good? Let's jump in.
All right, first up, a weird question. And really, what we're doing here is figuring out what the heck this problem is even asking, before we can even think about solving it.
Here's our question. What fraction of 2.5 is 4/5? Look at the number line. The green line goes from 0 all the way to 2.5. The blue line only goes from 0 to 4/5, so it's shorter. We're asking, how much of the green line is the blue line? What fraction of that longer green line does the shorter blue line take up? That's what fraction of 2.5 is 4/5 is really asking. And here's how we write that as math. 4/5 divided by 2.5.
Okay, so we know it's 4/5 divided by 2.5. But why that way? Why not the other way around? That's a great question, and it brings us to our next section, the easy numbers trick. This is going to show you exactly how to find the pattern so you never get it mixed up.
Okay, but how did I know to do 4/5 divided by 2.5 and not the other way around? Here's a trick my grandma taught me. When the numbers are horrible and confusing, swap them out for easy numbers. Pick numbers where you already know the answer without even thinking. Try this one. What fraction of 10 is 2? You know that instantly, right? 2 is 1/5 of 10. Now, how would you calculate that if you had to? 2 divided by 10. That gives you 2/10, which simplifies to 1/5. It works. So now I've discovered the pattern. When a question asks what fraction of A is B, you do B divided by A. The is number gets divided by the of number. And here's the beautiful part. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. Fractions, mixed numbers, decimals, whatever. The pattern is always the same. So when the numbers look scary, just figure out how it works using easy numbers. Then go back to your real problem and do it the same way.
So that little trick gives us the super reliable rule. I call it the is over of rule. It's simple. Whenever you see what fraction of A is B, you always do B divided by A. Just remember, the is number gets divided by the of number. Seriously, burn this into your brain. It's a lifesaver.
Okay, awesome. We have our rule, the problem is set up, so we're ready to draw, right? Not quite. There's one more piece, and it's super important. That brings us to section 3, the secret of 1. This is the hidden step that makes the diagrams actually work. Here's something really important that can trip you up in math. When we put 4/5 on a number line, we just point to it. We find 4/5 and mark it. Done. But here's what nobody tells you. When you mark 4/5 on a number line, you're actually marking 4/5 of 1. The of 1 part goes without saying. Everybody just assumes it. If you don't say of something, it always means of 1. On a number line, that's fine. You don't even have to think about it. But in a tape diagram, that silent of 1 becomes a problem. In a tape diagram, you've got a whole grid of boxes. You could take 4/5 of lots of different things in there. 4/5 of a column, 4/5 of the whole bar, 4/5 of what exactly? We need 4/5 of 1. So before we can find 4/5, we have to find 1 first. We have to know where 1 is in our diagram. Then, and only then, can we shade 4/5 of it. That's the extra step. On a number line, 1 is just there. In a tape diagram, we have to go find it ourselves. So yeah, I'm going to say it again because it's that important. We have to know where 1 is in our diagram. You find that 1 first. It's like the anchor for the whole drawing. It's the step that makes everything else make sense. Whatever you do, don't skip this part.
All right, enough talk. We've got the setup, we've got the rules, we know the secret of 1. It is time to actually build this thing. Let's get into section 4 and visualize this problem.
All right, we're ready to build our tape diagram for 4/5 divided by 2.5. But first, let's make our lives easier. 2.5 is a mixed number, and mixed numbers are clunky to draw. So let's convert it to an improper fraction. 2.5 equals 5/2. Think of it this way. If you have 2.5 of something, you have 5 pieces that are each 1/2. 1/2
2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves, 5 halves. That's 2.5. 5 halves is the same amount as 2.5, just written differently. And that halves part tells us exactly how to draw it. We'll use pieces that are each 1/2. Trust me, this makes the tape diagram much easier to build.
Okay, so here's the plan step by step. First, we'll draw 5 columns for the 5 halves. Then, we'll add 5 rows to show the fifths. Step 3, the most important one, we find where 1 is. And finally, step 4, we shade 4/5 of that 1. Simple as that. Let's get to it. Now let's draw our tape diagram. Start with a long bar, a rectangle. Then cut it into 5 sections. Make these cuts vertical. Vertical is an important math word to know. It means the cuts go up and down. Now you have 5 columns. Each column is 1/2, so label them 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. Count them up. 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. That's 5 halves, which equals 2.5. So this whole bar represents 5 halves, or 2.5. That's the green line from our number line. That's the of number in our question. We've drawn the thing we're comparing to.
Perfect. Okay, step 2. We need to see fifths, right? So we're going to add 4 horizontal lines. Lines going side to side. And just like that, boom, you've sliced the whole thing into 5 rows. Now look, we've got a grid. Count them up, that's 25 little boxes in total. This grid is the magic that lets us compare everything.
Okay, here it is. The moment we've been waiting for. Step 3, find 1. So look at the diagram. Remember how each of those columns is 1/2? Well, what happens if you take 2 of those columns? 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1 whole. That's it. The first 2 columns, that is our 1. Let's just put a little box around it so we don't forget. That's our anchor. All right, last step in building this thing, the shading. We need to find 4/5 times 1. So we're only going to look inside that box we just drew around our 1. Inside that area, we're going to shade 4 of the 5 rows. So we shade, and we count them up. That gives us a grand total of 8 shaded boxes. And we're done. The diagram is complete. All the hard work pays off now, because the answer is literally just sitting there, waiting for us. So for our last section, let's find that answer and see what this picture really tells us. So what's the big reveal? It's honestly just about counting at this point. How many boxes did we shade? Yep, 8 of them. And how many boxes are there in the entire thing, the whole bar? 25. That's it. 8 and 25. Those are our magic numbers. And that gives us our final answer. It's the shaded boxes over the total boxes. It's just 8 over 25. 8/25. So, what fraction of 2.5 is 4/5? It's 8/25. And the coolest part is, we didn't just blindly follow some rule. We built a picture. We can literally see the answer. How cool is that? Okay, let's do a quick recap. Here are the big things to remember. First, what fraction of A is B is always B divided by A, the is over of rule. Second, always change mixed numbers into improper fractions first. It just makes life easier. Third, use columns for one denominator and rows for the other. Fourth, and I'm going to say it again, always find the 1 in your diagram. And finally, the answer is just shaded boxes divided by total boxes. That's the whole playbook. Getting the right answer is awesome, but honestly, there's a much bigger lesson here. This isn't just about this one problem, it's about a way of thinking that can make all of math feel a whole lot more intuitive. So do we have to draw these pictures every single time we divide fractions? No, of course not. Think about it. You don't grab 10 apples and hand them out to 2 kids every time you see 10 divided by 2. You just know what it means. The pictures are just to help you understand what's happening. Once you get it, you can move on to faster ways to compute. But here's something important to take with you. 4/5 always means 4/5 of something. If nobody tells you of what, it means 4/5 of 1. That's true all through math, not just here. Algebra, calculus, all of it. So when that of 1 goes without saying, you'll know it's there. You won't get tripped up. Now one more thing, and this is a favor Grandma is asking. By the way, Grandma was a math teacher. When you learn to compute fraction division, please don't memorize cute sayings like keep change flip or Kentucky chicken fried. I know they're catchy, but they hide what's really going on.
Here's the real idea. To divide by a fraction, you multiply by its inverse. The inverse of a fraction is the number you multiply by to get 1. So the inverse of 5 halves is 2/5. Check it. 5 halves times 2/5 equals 10/10, which equals 1. The inverse is always the flipped fraction. That's where flip comes from.
But here's why it matters. Inverse is a big idea that shows up again and again in math. If all you remember is flipping the chicken, you'll miss the connections later. If you understand inverses, everything that comes next will be 1,000 times easier. The big words aren't there to make things harder. They're there to make things clearer.
And this really is the bottom line, right? Learning a core concept like inverse pays off forever. You'll see it in algebra, calculus. It shows up everywhere. Shortcuts, on the other hand, are fragile. They break as soon as problems get a little more complex. But real understanding, that builds confidence and creates a foundation that makes everything you learn later so much easier.
So, I'll leave you with a question to chew on. In your own life, in your own learning, what's a core concept, a big idea, that you've discovered is way more powerful than any simple trick or shortcut? Thanks for joining me.